I'm going to hold you close as I ask you this very sensitive question. Do you ever feel like people only want you after you're healed? Let me tell you guys a story. So, about 4 years ago, I embarked on a self discovery journey, as so many people tend to do. Or a few. I don't know. Some people do this, some people don't. It depends on what spectrum of life you've landed on. And for me, it's been messy, to say the least. But you see, with this self discovery thing, I have had to have introspective conversations with myself where I sit with myself as I am, not as I want to be, and have very honest, candid, I was about to say candid conversations with myself. And that is when I realize something. I'm emotionally sensitive. And by emotionally sensitive, I mean I feel every emotion deeply. I feel it. If it's joy, I feel it like all of it. If it's anger, I really feel the anger. If it's sadness, it almost turns into depression, which in any case it did because I ended up in rehab for depression and stuff like that. So to put a word on it, your girl can feel everything. But you see, while growing up, I always saw this as a weakness. I I always saw like as if that didn't make me such a strong person as I had wanted to be. So do you know what I did? I shoved those feelings down, never to see the light of day. And you see, the thing is, they got so loud, but I never ever wanted to talk about them. I never wanted to talk about them so much so that eventually I just started to cut people off without ever knowing. I started to build these walls around myself that were pushing people away. And I wasn't even realizing it. That's the tricky part. But then a week ago, it hit me. I was having a candid conversation with a guy who had been pursuing me for a long time. And by a long time, I mean he had been pursuing me for 5 or so years, to say the least. But then, as we're having this candid conversation, he told me that Chloe, you still have some stuff to work through, you still have something to work on. And you see, the thing is, you guys, this guy had seen how scared I was of relationships and how much reservations I had about relationships. Because imagine this, after my parents' divorce, which by the way I'm still healing from, and three quote unquote failed relationships, or is it, it's, it is, yeah, three failed relationships. You start to fear things, right? Something awakens up in you and it's fear. So me, I started to fear, which happens when you do not understand something. Like something's going awry, you don't understand what's going on. You tend to fear when you're confused. That's what happened to me. But then that is when I decided, you know what? It's time to work on myself, time to heal from these fears and reservations that I have. Because you see, my goal in the future is to date, have a husband, children of my own. So in hindsight, I'm standing in my own way, I'm being my own worst enemy. And that's when I decided to work on myself, hence becoming a work in progress. But you see, the thing is, work in progress types of people are not the kind of people everyone is running towards or jumping at the chance to date. It's like craving salt and vinegar crisps. You're not going to go to the shop and buy that the company, of course, is selling you Irish potatoes, salt, vinegar, and cooking oil to go and cook the things. No, you're going to go and buy an already processed what bag of crisps of salt and vinegar so that you can eat in the fastest time possible. Not only that, let's actually analyze it from an angle that I would love to analyze it from. 8 times out of 10, when given the choice between cooking and ordering in food, when you have the money, people often choose to what? To order in. No one will cook. Take it from me, I like to order Glovo when I do not feel like cooking. You see that sticker above there? That is living proof that I Glovo in at any slight inconvenience of cooking, I Glovo in. I even have bags of like CJs to prove that point. And you see, that is like the same thing in dating. Oftentimes, people want a finished product, a healed person, someone who is been through the trenches and is healed and will not bother them. And honestly, I do not blame those people because you see, life is hard as it already is. You have to work 9 to 5, do this, do the other. You already have to hustle. I would imagine that you don't also want to do the same thing when it comes to like a relationship. Because for people like me who are work in progress and not to forget emotionally sensitive, that takes a lot of hard work to be with such a kind of person in a relationship. But God forbid such like people go for people like me, work in progress, emotionally sensitive type. They either want to fix them or aren't emotionally like mature enough to handle such people. But you see, the thing is, work in progress people or emotionally sensitive people like me, we do not need Bob the Builders to come in here and fix our up everything. We are not fixer uppers. Even though I think there's a song in Frozen where they were saying, I think she's a fixer upper, you. Whatever, it's a song in Frozen. We do not need to be fixed. We do not need to be changed. We just need someone who is patient, someone who will sit with us during the bad times, someone who will enjoy with us during the good times, someone who will hold your hand during the ugly times, and someone who will jump up and down with you during the beautiful times. Someone who is here for a long time, not just for a good time. Because trust, those moments are there. And we need someone who won't flinch when things become real. And you see, the thing is, I'm not asking this as a one-sided request. I'm asking this because this is the kind of love I feel I deserve, the kind of love I know that awaits me out there. And I know that I can offer because I'm not going to say, oh, I need you to be patient with me. And then for me, I'm like, not patient with you. So if you are a work in progress like me, just know you're not too much. You're just like building yourself like me, if at all you've started on this path of self-discovery. And you know what, I'm rooting for you, and I'm rooting for myself as well to get what I want at the end of this. I hope you guys loved this episode. I tried so much to keep the story brief and not to over meander. Let me know if you like it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao, Bella. Bye.